Jedi Civil War. Revan and Malak's crusade against the Republic. A conflict that devastated the galaxy, destroyed countless worlds, and nearly wiped out the Jedi Order. But what if it had been worse? What if, while the Republic and the Jedi were tearing themselves apart, the true Sith Empire, the ancient hidden civilization in the unknown regions, had chosen that moment to strike? Welcome to the timeline where the Sith Empire did not wait. They attacked when the galaxy was at its weakest, and they conquered everything. The Republic knew nothing of the true Sith Empire. After the Great Hyperspace War, they believed the Sith were destroyed, scattered, extinct. But they were wrong. The Sith had retreated to the unknown regions, to Drummond, Kos, and beyond, building a new empire in secret. For 1,000 years they prepared. They built fleets. They trained armies. They perfected dark side sorcery. And they waited. The Sith Emperor Vitiate had a vision. Not to conquer the Republic through strength, but through patience. He would wait for the perfect moment. And in this timeline, that moment came during the Jedi Civil War. In the original timeline, the Jedi Civil War was devastating enough. Revan and Malak, turned to the dark side by the Emperor's manipulation, launched a brutal assault on the Republic. They converted Jedi to their cause, destroyed worlds, and built an empire of their own. The Republic, already weakened by the Mandalorian Wars, was barely able to resist. The Jedi Order was decimated. And by the time Revan was redeemed and Malak was defeated, the galaxy was exhausted. But at least the Sith threat was gone. Or so they thought. In this timeline, the true Sith Empire watches the Jedi Civil War, not as observers, but as vultures. They see the Republic bleeding. They see the Jedi broken. And they know the time to strike is now. The true Sith Empire does not announce its invasion with declarations or ultimatums. It simply arrives. A fleet of unimaginable size emerges from the unknown regions, bypassing the Republic's devastated outer defenses. World after world falls before the Republic even knows what is happening. The Sith do not merely conquer. They consume. Using the dark side rituals perfected over centuries, the Sith drain the life force of entire populations, feeding their emperor and fueling their war machine. The Republic, still recovering from the Jedi Civil War, has no fleet large enough to resist. The Jedi, still rebuilding from Revan's betrayal, have no strength to fight. And the Sith Empire, which has waited 1,000 years for this moment, does not hesitate. In this timeline, Revan is not redeemed. He is still the Dark Lord, commanding his own Sith forces against the Republic. But when the true Sith Empire invades, Revan faces a choice. He can continue his war against the Republic, fighting on two fronts. Or he can do the unthinkable, ally with the Jedi and the Republic against the greater threat. Revan, ever the pragmatist, chooses alliance. The galaxy witnesses the impossible sight of Republic cruisers, fighting alongside Revan's warships, Jedi Knights battling beside Sith Lords, all against the true Sith Empire. But the alliance is too little, too late. The true Sith have prepared for 1,000 years. Revan prepared for a decade. The math is merciless. The Republic does not fall in a single battle. It falls piece by piece, world by world, fleet by fleet. The Senate, paralyzed by fear and political infighting, cannot coordinate an effective defense. Individual systems try to resist, but they are isolated and overwhelmed. The Jedi Order, which had begun to rebuild after the Jedi Civil War, is hunted to extinction. The true Sith do not merely kill Jedi. They break them. They use dark side sorcery to turn captured Jedi into mindless weapons, force-sensitive slaves who fight their former brothers. Coruscant itself is besieged. The Senate is dissolved. The Jedi Temple is converted into a Sith Academy, and the Republic, which had stood for 1,000 generations, ceases to exist. Revan does not surrender. He fights to the end, using every strategy, every trick, every dark side technique he knows. He leads a guerrilla war against the true Sith, striking at supply lines, assassinating Sith Lords, and freeing enslaved worlds. For a time, he is successful. He becomes a legend, a ghost who haunts the Sith Empire's nightmares. But the true Sith Emperor, Vitiate, does not fear ghosts. He sends his greatest hunters after Revan, Sith assassins trained specifically to kill Force users, Dark Council members who have lived for centuries, and Sith spawn creatures bred for war. Revan fights them all, but he cannot fight the numbers. In the end, Revan is cornered on a forgotten world, his fleet destroyed, his allies dead. He fights to the last breath, killing a dozen Sith Lords before he falls. And with his death, the last hope of the galaxy dies. A century after the invasion, the galaxy is unrecognizable. The true Sith Empire spans from the core worlds to the unknown regions. Vitiate rules not as an emperor, but as a god. His dark side rituals have made him immortal, his power fed by the countless souls he has consumed. The Sith Empire is not merely a government. It is a dark side theocracy, where every citizen serves the Emperor through labor, worship, or war. The Jedi are extinct. The Republic is a memory, and the name Revan, once spoken with fear or reverence, is forgotten. The galaxy has entered a dark age that will last not for years, but for millennia, and Vitiate at the center of it all smiles. His patience was rewarded. His vision was realized. The galaxy is his. Historians in the original timeline asked, could the Republic have survived if the true Sith had invaded earlier? The answer in this timeline is clear. No. The Republic was too weak, too divided, too exhausted by endless war. The Jedi were too few, too scattered, too traumatized by Revan's betrayal. And Revan himself, for all his genius, could not fight a war on two fronts against an enemy that had prepared for 1,000 years. The true Sith Empire won not because they were stronger in the moment, but because they were patient. They waited for the perfect moment to strike. And when that moment came, they did not hesitate. The galaxy fell not to tyranny, but to patience. This timeline is a warning. It shows what happens when a civilization tears itself apart. The Republic and the Jedi were so busy fighting Revan that they never saw the true threat. Revan was so busy fighting the Republic that he never imagined a greater enemy. And by the time anyone realized the danger, it was too late. The true Sith Empire conquered not through superior strength, but through superior timing. They let their enemies destroy each other, and then they picked up the pieces. In our timeline, they waited too long. In this timeline, they acted at the perfect moment, and the galaxy burned for their patience. This has been SWTOR. Subscribe for more dark timelines from the Old Republic era.